Mo Gao continent was one of the biggest continents out of the 12. There were countless lives on this continent. Every moment, because of the overlords' wars, empire wars and god wars, hundreds of millions of lives were lost. It was because of these crazy meat grinder-like wars that generations of experts were trained. Mo Gao continent had a total of 6 main gods, close to 1,000 undyings, as well as a sea of demigods and legendaries. Seal. Standing under the 7-colored light, Luo Feng spread his 4 wings and gazed down at the vast land. The hazy and thin golden light covered the entire Mo Gao continent. Whether it was the weak babies or the incomparably strong main gods, they were all under the control of the endless golden light. Those half-gods, legends, saints etc. could still move normally, but the undyings and main gods couldn't move at all. Plus the space was sealed, teleportation was impossible. What a powerful restriction. What terrifying power, the great Yuan Ao supreme god. The close to 1,000 undyings scattered all over Mo Gao continent all called out the supreme god Yuan Ao's name. These undyings too had some soul servants, and through their servants they knew, the hazy golden light covered a vast area, it was simply unbelievable. These undyings had interacted with the main gods before, and knew that their power wasn't this ridiculous. It was fine if the main god only used his pressure on an undying, but to use it on an area over 10 billion kilometers away, they had never heard of it before. Only Yuan Ao supreme god could do such a thing. My 22 servants are scattered in various regions of the Mo Gao continent, but they are all enveloped by this golden light. How big is this? It's more than a light year. This is the means of the Lord of the Universe. Floating in midair in the depths of the clouds, there was a shining temple. Inside the temple, there were servants and attendants wearing either white or golden robes. This was the temple of the legendary god of light. To be able to serve the great god of light, Tavo, was the pride and honor of these saints, legends and demigods. However at this time, their radiant master god on the other hand, was seated on his throne, unable to move at all. His eyes were filled with fear. If it isn't overgod Yuan Ao, then who is it? Who is it? The radiant sovereign Tavo was utterly terrified. This is definitely the work of a Lord of the Universe. Some of the undyings below shouted out, Yuan Ao high god above. The demigod guard outside the palace upon hearing this hurriedly called out, Overgod Yuan Ao. The legendary attendants followed suit and called out, Overgod Yuan Ao. Luster main god Tavo sat on his throne, his face filled with shock and rage. However, he couldn't be bothered to reprimand his subordinates. The undyings under him had no connection with Yuan Ao high god, but he was Yuan Ao high god's sole servant. Naturally he knew that this wasn't done by Yuan Ao high god. All hail the overgod Yuan Ao. A large number of experts in the divine hall of the radiant sovereign god shouted out, their voices rising and falling. Amidst these shouts of worship and respect, suddenly the surrounding space seemed to have stopped. Even the undyings and half-gods all shut their mouths under this pressure. Everything went silent. In the distance, a dark green winged man bathed in golden light slowly walked over. Step by step, all of the undyings, half-gods, legends including the radiant main god Tavo who couldn't move at all looked at this man. Tavo. This winged man slowly walked over, looking at the radiant main god on the throne, his voice reverberating throughout the palace. You are Yuan Ao's sole servant? You dare disrespect the overgod Yuan Ao. You dare call out the overgod Yuan Ao by his name. One of the legendary attendants within the shrine was the first to scream out. Even though he was afraid of this being, he had been instilled with faith in the overgod Yuan Ao since young. His faith towards the overgod Yuan Ao had already surpassed his fear of death. Hearing this powerful being call out Yuan Ao's name, he was instantly enraged. Calling out the overgod Yuan Ao by his name, you should be sent to the endless black hell and burned to death. You. Suddenly, the 3 half-gods and legends that spoke up immediately turned to dust and vanished. Luo Feng didn't even look at them. Daring to offend the might of the universe lord, a mere domain lord or sector lord was suicidal. On the other hand, the few undyings within the shrine and the radiant master god Tavo didn't dare make a sound. Not speaking? Luo Feng said softly. Answer me, are you Yuan Ao's sole servant? On the throne, Tavo's gaze suddenly dimmed, replying mechanically, yes, I am the sole servant of the overgod Yuan Ao. The few undyings below were immediately shocked as they looked up at Tavo on the throne. Looking at Tavo's dim gaze, his mechanical and numb voice, they immediately understood. This Tavo was actually controlled without a sound. They were very clear. The Tavo main god was a universe knight. Even in the vast universe he was considered a true warrior that roamed the universe. To be able to control a universe knight so easily, what kind of being was that? Indeed. I thought Julian's information was fake. Luo Feng smiled indifferently. Tell me the names of your soul servants. Kuya Busi Mago. Light main god Tavo continued to speak mechanically. As expected, any soul servant as long as they are undying, they are all targets. Luo Feng turned to look at the few undyings below. It's time to send you all on your way. Before Luo Feng came here, he had already done a large-scale teleportation on Mo Gao continent. Teleporting time and time again, he quickly discovered that there were a total of 2 universe knights and 49 undyings that were targets. When he was searching the memories of the undyings on Dark Consciousness continent, one had to know that there were a total of 1,000 gods on the 12 continents. They all knew each other. Luo Feng searched his memories, naturally he recognized these gods on Mo Gao continent and knew their names. Now, upon hearing the names that the sovereign god of radiance, Tavo, had mentioned, indeed, all undecaying soul servants were the targets of this operation. No, spare us. Great being, please spare us. Great being, we don't have any thoughts of becoming enemies with you, please spare us, we will always be grateful for your kindness in our lives. The few undying saw that Luo Feng was about to kill them and immediately begged. Luo Feng turned fiercely to look into the distance, his gaze almost piercing through the layers of space, looking at the being that had suddenly descended on Mo Gao continent. Mo Gao continent, in the air above an ice-cold dark green vast ocean, a huge arm suddenly tore open the seven-colored light and stepped into Mo Gao continent. He was tall and majestic, his single eye gazing into the distance. It was the Lord Yuan Ao, the legendary overgod of the 12 endless continents, Yuan Ao. With a cold snort, his entire gray armor suddenly erupted in flames, the endless blurry gold light couldn't even shake him. What a strong power. I can't control a part of space-time. This power is as strong as a top-tier domain-type treasure. I'm lucky I have a top-tier domain-type treasure. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. Lord Yuan Ao's god body suddenly emitted endless, blinding flames. Hua hua hua. In an instant, the endless flames descended on the entire Mo Gao continent. Ah, flames? Fire. Ah, danger. My god. As the trillions of lives on Mo Gao continent were shocked, they were shocked to discover that the seemingly terrifying flames didn't seem to have the power of a true flame at all. Even the weakest babies weren't harmed by the flames at all. Under the golden flames, it was like a light breeze brushing past their skin. Look. The ocean and the flames are together, there's no movement at all. So strange. The entire Mo Gao continent was shocked, even the ongoing battles had stopped. Because under the endless flames, even though the flames were thin, it was still like a thick fog, causing their vision to be limited. And the endless flames from the sky, this was simply unbelievable, a miracle. It surpassed any miracle in the legends. Previously, when the golden light enveloped him, the hazy golden light was not eye-catching, and it did not affect life, war, or anything else. However, the endless flames caused the entire Mo Gao continent's vision to be much smaller. Radiant Shrine. Spare us. Spare us. As the Undyings begged, suddenly the endless flames descended. The golden country formed by the Wu Slayer wings. It was fundamentally different from a domain treasure. Two domain treasures. The moment they were unleashed, the two would clash, etc. Just like back on Primal Planet, the Primal Chaos City Leader's Thousand Treasure River clashed with another top-grade domain treasure, Fushan Hai. However, if it was a completely different power, such a thing wouldn't have happened. Just like in LuoFeng's miniature universe, the Banfa Lord's Olo world from back then still existed. It wouldn't clash. LuoFeng's Wu-slaying wings activated the Golden Country. It was actually a form of control over space and time. It was similar to the Universe Lord's ability to control space and time, it was just that through the Wu-slaying wings technique, it was even stronger. This caused the Yuan Ao Lord to be unable to control the time and space. All targets have to die. LuoFeng's gaze swept. Insolence. Yuan Ao's voice resounded from within the endless golden flames. The endless flames immediately protected the light god Tavo and the Undyings. With the power of a top-grade domain treasure. Even though the area wasn't as large as the Golden Country, the binding power was similar, it could completely block the Golden Country's pressure and protect the light god Tavo and the Undyings. Yuan Ao, you can't protect them. Luo Feng said indifferently. These words caused the Radiant Chief God, the Undyings, the large number of demigod guards and legendary servants to all be shocked. Could it be that this being didn't even care about the supreme god Yuan Ao? From birth they were instilled with one belief. Yuan Ao was the highest. Overgod Yuan Ao, save me. Tuolian, the sovereign of radiance, called out frantically. Almighty Yuan Ao, Overgod, save us. The Undyings all called out. He can't kill you. The golden flames resounded with an authoritative voice. Laughable. Luo Feng shook his head. Rumble. 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 A golden river emanated from Luo Feng's body. The Nine Snow River clashed with the Golden River. The endless flames that were originally suppressed by the Golden Country immediately dispersed. Under the sweep of that Golden River, the Sovereign of Radiance, Tavo, and his 3 soul servants were instantly annihilated. Damn. A roar resounded through the endless flames. Luo Feng looked at the stunned, shocked and terrified Undyings, demigods and legendaries within the shrine, after which he turned and took a step, leaving the shrine. Within the shrine there were still 2 Undyings, not soul slaves, a group of demigod guards and a group of legendary servants. The Overlord God above, he was actually able to kill the Radiant Chief God even with the protection of the Overlord God. Just who is it? The group of legendaries, demigods and the 2 Undyings' minds were in turmoil. The 2 Undyings had some understanding of the vast universe outside the secret region. Hence, they were able to guess that the enemy was a universe lord that rushed over from the vast universe. However, the demigods and legendaries were different. They had always been instilled with the belief that the Overlord God's might was inviolable and that the Overlord God was invincible. Within these legendaries, domain lords, and demigods, sector lords, a new seed was planted. They had already gotten rid of the idea that the Overlord God was invincible. They suddenly understood. The vast universe didn't only have their 12 continents as the center, there was probably even more vast land. If that enemy can match the Overlord God, then why can't I? The seed had already been planted, there was hope for it to bear fruit. Luo Feng walked out of the Radiant Shrine with one step. The waves of the Nine Sea River flowed around him. With the support of the Golden Country, this weak Nine Sea River was still able to smash and disperse the endless flames. Yuan Mysterious Lord. Luo Feng looked at the distant majestic silhouette within the endless flames. The majestic silhouette's single eye stared angrily at Luo Feng. Report your name, don't hide it, you're not from the Card Eagle clan. Haha. Luo Feng laughed. Immediately his red hair turned black, his armor and wings returned to their original color. It was a silver-armored, silver-winged, black-haired man. You are? Yuan Mysterious Lord was curious. Luo Feng. Luo Feng said directly. Yuan Mysterious Lord's single eye was filled with shock. That absolute genius of humanity from back then has become a universe lord? How long has it been? When did you become the master of the universe? Lord Yuan Ao did not belong to any superpower because he had quickly become the lord of the universe since the birth of the universe. Over the countless years, his strength had naturally become very powerful. He did not need to join any superpower at all. He was a solitary existence in the universe. Because he was a loner, he was not well informed. Not long ago, Luo Feng said. Ah. Lord Yuan Ao muttered to himself, his eye filled with a complex emotion. After a while he said, so it's Milky Way Leader Luo Feng. I didn't expect so many things to happen in the short time I was asleep. You actually killed more than 6,000 universe supremacies from the 3 great alliances. You're really ruthless. Just SOSO. Luo Feng smiled indifferently. This Yuan Ao lord before him had obviously just found out about everything that had happened on Primal Star these few years. Humph. Lord Arcanum roared. Even if you're the lord of the universe, even if you're from the human alliance, you can't be this impudent. The secret region I control is my territory. You came here to kill, that's provoking me. However, since you're a universe lord, I won't pursue this further. Hand over a high-level treasure as an apology and quickly leave my territory. This matter will end here. It was very hard for universe lords to kill each other, unless the difference in strength was huge. Hence, most of them ended with negotiations or grudges. High-level treasure? Luo Feng shook his head. Milky Way Leader, you think just because you're from the human alliance I'll let you go? Lord Yuan Ao roared. My apologies, there's no way to end this. Luo Feng looked at Lord Yuan Ao. I'm under the orders of the Ancestral God Sect to come and kill you and your many warriors. Silence. Lord Yuan Ao's eye was filled with shock, followed by shock and rage, endless rage. You're talking about the Ancestral God Sect? Lord Yuan Ao roared. The Ancestral God Sect sent you to kill me? Damn bastard, damn the Ancestral God Sect. I Yuan Ao roamed the universe alone. Even the strongest in the universe can forget about killing me, why would I be afraid of them? Come, I'll be here in the secret region. I'll wait, I want to see who'll come and kill me, ha. Luo Feng frowned. Through the golden toad. Luo Feng could confirm that Lord Yuan Ao himself had indeed caused the golden toad's eyes to turn red. Also, Lord Yuan Ao had another target on him that caused the toad to turn red. 2 targets, one is the Lord Yuan Ao himself. The other one was carried by his side. Is it the soul slave in his world ring? Or some other special item? Luo Feng thought. No matter what, as long as it caused the toad's eyes to turn red, it would be a target that needed to be eliminated. And when he unleashed the Golden Country, enveloping Dark Sense Continent and killing Refinement Lord, Luo Feng was already prepared to deal with Lord Yuan Ao. That flamboyantly descending on Mo Gao continent, Luo Feng had long been waiting for the Yuan Mystery Lord. Indeed, the Yuan Mystery Lord had appeared, and everything was as he had expected. The Yuan Mystery Lord had indeed caused the Golden Toad's eyes to turn red. The reason why he mentioned the Ancestral God Sect was because Luo Feng was very clear. He couldn't kill this Lord Yuan Ao. Lord Yuan Ao is a special life form. His body is over 1,000,000 km tall, his God energy purity is even higher than mine by a level. Luo Feng thought. And from the birth of the universe till now, he has accumulated countless treasures. According to my understanding, he has a top-level domain treasure, a pinnacle armor, etc. To kill him, even the Star River Lord wouldn't be able to. When Lord Yuan Ao said before, even the strongest in the universe can forget about killing him, it wasn't a lie. This was the truth. Just like the Star River Lord, Primal Chaos City Lord, 9 Underworld Lord, they didn't fear the strongest in the universe at all. And even though Lord Yuan Ao's battle strength was weaker than the Star River Lord, his huge body allowed him to roam the universe without fear. Lord Yuan Ao stared angrily at Luo Feng. Milky Way Leader, I'm not afraid of those bastards from the Ancestral God Sect at all. As for you, Humph, you're just an outer member of the Ancestral God Sect. I can't be bothered to deal with you. If you know what's good for you, hand over a high-level treasure as compensation and scram from my territory. Otherwise, I'll let you see my methods. Ah, I'm indeed very curious about your methods. Luo Feng laughed softly. I really want to spar with you, the Universe Lord who has risen since the birth of the universe. Why, you intend to fight in Mo Gao continent. Destroying the entire continent, I don't feel any heartache. Lord Yuan Ao snorted coldly. Since you're looking for death, then follow me. We'll fight in the secret region space. Very good. Luo Feng nodded. So, the two, one in front and one behind, almost simultaneously vanished from Mo Gao continent. The golden country and endless flames that enveloped Mo Gao continent immediately vanished too. The hundreds of millions of living beings on the Mo Gao continent were in an uproar. Previously, the hazy golden light and the endless flame had descended one after another, and now they had all disappeared. Such a thing had never happened in the history of the Mo Gao continent. In the void about dozens of light years away from the 12 continents, the void was dark with only thin mist-like cosmic energy. Two silhouettes, one in front and one behind, appeared in this space. You're just an errand boy of the Ancestral God Sect. I originally didn't want to make things difficult for you. You killed two of my subordinates, many undyings, and I couldn't be bothered with that. I just wanted you to hand over a high-level treasure and get the hell out of my territory. I didn't expect you to dare challenge me? A punk that's only trained for 100,000 years? I'll let you know the huge difference between me and the Banfu leader's hypnotism. The tall figure looked at Luo Feng with a single eye. Luo Feng stood in midair, carrying a blade on his back. Is that so? Rumble. Boundless hazy gold descended, turning the dark void into a golden kingdom. Boundless power suppressed Lord Yuan Arcana. Lord Yuan Arcana roared, and boundless flames appeared out of nowhere. The power of the golden kingdom wasn't much different from the boundless flames. Luo Feng, however, knew. In truth, the Wu slaying wings was even stronger. However, his god energy was still weaker than Lord Yuan Ao's by a level. That was why the second layer of this incomplete supreme treasure, the slaying Wu wings, was able to match the boundless flames. Other warriors have no way of using two domain treasures at the same time, because the domains and domains repel each other. Luo Feng thought. However, my golden country controls space and time. It can work perfectly with the domain treasures. The Nine River itself is too weak. I'll have to get a powerful domain treasure in the future. Luo Feng anticipated within. Since the Golden Kingdom was even more powerful than a top-grade territory supreme treasure, if he obtained another top-grade territory supreme treasure, it would probably be comparable to a top-grade territory supreme treasure. Right, the miniature universe is another method. Miniature universe, golden country, domain treasure. All three don't repel each other. I can use them simultaneously. Luo Feng suddenly found a path that suited him. Up till now, unless he stepped into the Universe Lord level, it would be hard for him to have an explosive increase in strength in a short period of time. However, the miniature universe, golden country, domain treasure, when the three combined, it would form a powerful technique that belongs solely to Luo Feng. Even the Star River Lord, who can unleash the Dark Knight technique similar to the miniature universe, he has domain treasures. However, he doesn't have a treasure that can control space and time like the Wu slaying wings. Luo Feng thought, in terms of controlling space and time, I'm afraid only the strongest of the universe surpasses me. Wu slaying wings, that's mysterious. Luo Feng couldn't help but compliment. At least Luo Feng had never heard of any other treasure with such power. Also, the Wu slaying wings was still damaged. This made Luo Feng filled with anticipation for it. Many thoughts flashed through his mind like lightning. Luo Feng's eyes stared at his opponent from afar. A being that was only slightly weaker than the Star Pagoda. Without using the Star Pagoda, how far could he go? Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. A little human doll that's only trained for 10 eras, I'll let you know the consequences of messing with me. With a roar, endless flames rushed towards Luo Feng. The Lord of Arcana had two thick arms. One of them was holding a dark red shield, while the other was holding a long-handled hammer. This hammer was bronze in color, and it was stained with blood. The handle was very thick and the hammer was very large. There were sharp nails on the hammer. Howl! The hammer burned with flames, bringing with it endless power as it arrived before Luo Feng. Even the surrounding space had become a particle flow. LuoFeng's blade Absolute Guest was immediately unsheathed. Absolute Guest was a pinnacle treasure blade crafted by Mountain Guest. It was much stronger than the Blood Shadow blade Luo Feng used back then in his battle with Banfu Leader. A good treasure had a huge effect on one's strength, and the closer one got to the absolute treasure, the more obvious the difference was. Dang! The sharp blade struck the long handle of the hammer, receiving a huge force. Luo Feng was forced back 3 steps in midair, only then did the force dissipate. The Lord of Arcana took 2 steps to the side before stopping. You? The mysterious Lord looked angrily at Luo Feng, roaring, when you battled against Banfu Leader, didn't you use your strongest technique to gain the upper hand? I saw that your blade technique before wasn't that powerful. It was only at the Universe Lord's final technique level. How could it block my random hammer? Luo Feng laughed coldly. Don't talk nonsense. Random hammer? Then take out your true strength. Even though he shouted that, in truth Luo Feng was very clear on how strong the mysterious Lord was. With the Golden Country and Nine Ming River's support, he had already suppressed the mysterious Lord before they even clashed. Hence, even though it seemed like they were evenly matched, in truth the mysterious Lord was indeed stronger than Luo Feng. Compared to the battle with Banfu Leader back then. Back then the Banfu Leader relied on the Fushan Ocean to suppress Luo Feng, gaining the upper hand. 2. Luo Feng used the Blood Shadow blade back then. Now it was Luo Feng who had the upper hand. The treasures had changed too. Even without relying on I am the universe, he could still fight evenly with the mysterious Lord. Arrogant, you've only trained for 10 eras and already have such strength, you have the right to be arrogant. But you must know, in the vast universe when experts fight, it doesn't matter how long you have cultivated. I'll show you my true power. Lord Arcanum roared. Boom. Suddenly, a dazzling flame vortex appeared around Lord Yuan Ao's divine body. This flame vortex was like a resplendent nebula that revolved around Lord Yuan Ao. And that expanding flame whirlpool was emitting unbelievable power. Even Luo Feng's golden country buffed Nine River was instantly destroyed. What a strong power. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at the distant huge flame whirlpool. It feels like it's comparable to the Star River Emperor's strongest technique, Dark Night. Rumble. The beautiful, dreamy, and resplendent flame whirlpool instantly rotated and shrank. In the blink of an eye, it had completely gathered on the huge round hammer, causing the flames on the round hammer to immediately soar. For a moment, the entire round hammer emanated boundless power, as if it was a peak-level domain-type treasure. Incinerate. Lord Yuan Arcana's voice boomed, filled with boundless killing intent. Boom. One strike. That huge round hammer with countless spikes was enveloped by the flames and became slightly red. The bloodstains on the hammer seemed to have been triggered and an overwhelming killing aura began to emanate. It ignored all defenses and drilled into Luo Feng's body and began to attack his willpower. Kill, kill, kill. Die. Endless roars resounded within Luo Feng's mind. The Yuan Ao Lord laughed coldly. From his point of view, even though Luo Feng was an absolute genius of humanity, even in the vast universe he was an absolute genius. However, he had only trained for a short period of 10 years, and the willpower that required endless time to train was probably a weakness. The killing aura released from his hammer to its maximum might not be much of a threat to a true universe lord, however against this human genius with a weaker willpower, it would probably have a huge effect. Not mentioning anything else, just being able to cause Luo Feng to be stunned for a moment was enough to send him into a dangerous situation. Peng. Following which, the round hammer arrived before Luo Feng. Wah. A glaring gold light flashed sharp and cold. It immediately clashed against the surface of the hammer. Along with a huge rumble, Luo Feng became a beam of light and flew backwards, flying a total of 1,000 kilometers before stopping. The Lord Yuan Ao stood stunned in midair. He blocked it, his body wasn't weakened at all? Lord Yuan Ao stood there stunned. Haha, Lord Yuan Ao, this is your annihilation? Luo Feng laughed loudly. In truth, he was shocked within. In that exchange earlier, even with the Nine River and Golden Country, he was still at a disadvantage. That move was indeed terrifying. Even though it wasn't as strong as the ultimate move of the Star River Lord, it was only slightly weaker. However, it was different from the battle with the Star River Lord. With the Golden Country and Nine River buffing his blade, even though he didn't have a Star Pagoda, it still made Luo Feng, who had the Calamity Armor's defense, lose 0.000 of his body. This Lord Yuan Ao used such a powerful technique, the amount of God energy he used probably took up 0.000 of his body. Luo Feng thought. Humph, I have the Calamity Armor to protect me, you want to kill me? Alright. Powerful. Indeed an absolute genius of the human race. How long has it been? From your battle with Banfu Lord till now, not even an era has passed. Your strength has actually soared again. You can't even get injured under my attacks. I originally wanted to rely on my body being stronger than yours to exhaust you to death. But now it seems, you have the right to make me use it. Lord Yuan Ao looked at Luo Feng, his single eye burning with a twisted madness. Luo Feng was shocked within. Use it? Haha, anyone can talk big. Unless you still have a powerful treasure? Luo Feng spread his four wings and stood on the Nine River, looking at the Lord Yuan Ao. Humph, ever since I got it, I've only used it once in the Cosmic Sea. In the Primal Universe, this is the first time I've used it. The Lord flipped his hand and the round hammer in his hand vanished. Following which a peculiar black object appeared in his huge palm. The moment it appeared, it emitted an endless amount of power. What a terrifying power. Luo Feng was shocked. Following which he used his mark on the golden toad. He confirmed that the black object was one of the targets. That's the target? That mystical item is the target? Luo Feng was shocked. After being in the Yuan Mystery region for so long, he had killed many Undyings and Universe Knights, however the only things that caused the golden toad's eyes to turn red were life forms. According to what the Ancestor God had said, such life forms were to be annihilated without exception. This time the Ancestor God had entrusted Luo Feng to investigate what exactly happened here. Luo Feng suddenly felt. The target this time was most likely that mystical creature. That wonder, upon closer inspection, was a huge piece of black wood. One could even see the broken stubble on the other end of the black wood. The markings on the black wood were extremely peculiar, almost as though many semicircles were intertwining with each other, forming a peculiar style. The entire black wood emitted a powerful pressure. That made Luo Feng's expression change. So powerful. Although I've seen many treasures, I've never seen them before. However, the only ones that surpass him are the Star Pagoda and the Five-Colored Lake. Luo Feng thought, with the Star Pagoda in my hands, I can only unleash a portion of its power. It doesn't even seem to compare to this black wood. Even though he hadn't made a move yet, the moment the black wood appeared in his hands, the pressure it emitted had already surpassed the Star River Lord's dual truncheons. Even the pinnacle treasures Luo Feng had seen the two-faced Ancestor God Sect's dual-faced Ancestor God use before, he felt it was slightly weaker than the black wood. The last time I used it with just one move, I destroyed a Universe Lord. Lord Yuan Arcana stroked the black wood. This is a wondrous item I obtained after experiencing countless trials and tribulations in the Cosmic Sea. I'll use it to tear you, the brat who provoked me, to pieces. I'll destroy your avatar and take your treasure. This will be your punishment. As for the Ancestral God Sect? Haha, even if the Ancestor God comes, I won't fear him. One at a time. In the distant demon territory. In the dream progenitor mystic realm, in the void where demon progenitor Dream's endless palace was located, a winding silver snake floated in the void, looking far into the universe. Ripple. It's that Ripple. It's from the Yuan Mystery region. Did the Yuan Mystery Lord obtain the item? The huge silver snake said slowly. What an idiot to actually bring such an item back to the Primal Universe. Don't they know that the Primal Universe rejects such treasures? Immediately, the huge silver snake began to pass down the order. Sky Wolf, Spirit Demon, the two of you immediately head to the Yuan Mystery region. The moment you encounter any danger, I'll rush over immediately. Yes. The Heavenly Wolf Lord and the Serene Devil Lord immediately accepted the order. Both of them had lived for a very long time. Among them, the Sky Wolf Lord was at the pinnacle and had extremely strong survival abilities. The Nether Devil Lord was also adept at survival and was at the pinnacle. Sending these two universe lords who were adept at survival was just a vanguard. It's actually that level of item. It's so rare even in the Universe C, and it actually appeared? Even though it can't compare to the absolute treasures. However, it's still extremely close to the absolute treasures. Even those pinnacle treasure sets can't compare to it. The moment that item appears, the strongest people in the Primal Universe will probably know about it. I'll send two universe lords to investigate first. I'll be able to rush over at any time. Soon, the Northern Border Alliance also sent two universe lords. The Ancestral God Sect also sent 3 universe lords. The Insectoid race also sent 1 universe lord. The Cosmic Beast Alliance also sent 2 universe lords. All the super factions sent their universe lords over, while the strongest people in the universe silently observed from behind. They knew that the strongest people in the other universes were paying attention to what was happening. On the other hand, the automaton race and the human race, the creator of the giant axe was in the universe C, while the godfather of the automaton race was in another universe, could not sense it. Naturally, they did not send any experts over. Luo Feng used the Golden Country's absolute control of space and time to sense the black wood. That piece of black wood must have been broken for some reason. The broken pieces were very clear. And it should be a natural treasure level treasure. It could be big or small, its power was limitless. I've never heard of such a treasure before. Luo Feng thought, the Lord of Yuan Mystery, Torch God, Radiant God, they were all life forms. Due to some special reason they were harmful to the universe and needed me to get rid of them. However, this black wood is just a dead object. It's actually harmful to the Primal Universe? No matter how powerful a treasure was, like a star tower, it wouldn't be harmful to the Primal Universe. This made Luo Feng even more cautious. Human punk. The Lord of Yuan Mystery laughed as he looked at Luo Feng, his single eye filled with glee. Regretting? Afraid? However, it's too late. Out of the countless warriors of the Primal Universe, you are the first to truly taste it. Your armor, wings, weapons, etc., you can't blame me for losing them, ha ha ha. Suddenly the Lord of Yuan Mystery roared, annihilate. The same move, it was the only move the Lord of Yuan Mystery had comprehended. The same scene appeared once again. That resplendent, eye-catching, dreamy, huge flame whirlpool was like a nebula whirlpool, engulfing the Lord of Yuan Mystery, causing his aura to explode. I can't play anymore. Luo Feng stared and unleashed his strongest technique, roaring, I am the universe. Rumble. Luo Feng's burning god energy was depleting at an incomparably terrifying speed. Simultaneously, the secret area that was originally covered in golden light suddenly changed. Endless chaotic energy emanated. These chaotic energies floated about everywhere. At this moment, the entire area with a diameter of 1 billion km had become a chaotic energy world. Chaos energy? The Lord of Yuan Mystery laughed happily, your strongest move has finally been unleashed, very good. Good my ass. Luo Feng roared. Inside the egg-sized miniature cosmos, primal chaos energy filled every corner. In terms of power, this miniature cosmos was even stronger than the Golden Kingdom. Back then Luo Feng relied on this move. Even with the Luo world, Luo Feng was still able to kill over 6,000 of his knights. At this time. Miniature Universe, support. Golden Kingdom, support. 9 Underworld River, charge. Luo Feng roared. Other than the Star Pagoda, his strongest techniques were the Miniature Universe, a miniature version of the universe, the Golden Kingdom, an absolute control over space-time, and the 9 Netherworld River, a domain of a domain-type treasure. These 3 were of different types and would not conflict with each other. In an instant they completely overlapped with each other. When the 3 of them were stacked together, just the Golden Kingdom and the 9 Netherworld River were enough to cause the boundless flames to collapse. Not to mention the addition of the even more powerful Miniature Universe. Rumble. Forceful suppression. The boundless flame domain around Lord Yuan Ao collapsed completely. Under the buffs of the Miniature Universe and Golden Kingdom, the 9 Nether River's might was boundless. It rampaged and even affected Lord Yuan Ao. Haha, this feels great, but die. The Lord of Yuan Arcana let out a fierce roar. Boom. His divine body suddenly expanded, instantly reaching the size of his true divine body, millions of kilometers. The gigantic Lord of Yuan Arcana, which was millions of kilometers long, grabbed the black divine tree with both hands. The boundless might formed by incineration, was completely concentrated on the black divine wood, causing strands of black air to rise and swirl around the black divine wood. A direct attack. The broken end of the black divine wood immediately smashed towards Luo Feng. This attack, even with the buffs of the Nine Nether River, it still crumbled inch by inch. The waves split into two, unable to stop the boundless flames and black energy swirling around the black divine wood. And the black divine wood was still constantly expanding and growing, heading straight for Luo Feng. Miniature universe, gather. Luo Feng roared. The entire chaotic miniature universe suddenly, the boundless chaos energy was like a tornado that gathered towards the blade in his right hand. Bringing with it the power of the fusion, Luo Feng slashed fiercely at the incoming black divine wood. Ping ping ping. The power rushed through the sky. Luo Feng retreated a few thousand kilometers. The Lord of Yuan Arcana too was pushed back a few hundred kilometers by the terrifying force. Impossible. The Lord of Yuan Arcana's eyes were filled with madness. Looking at the god wood in his hand, he roared madly, "Go and die. You think I'm afraid of you? You're the one who deserves to die." Luo Feng's four wings flapped. The miniature universe, the golden country, the Nine Nether River, he had the upper hand. The blade in his hand brought with it the power of the miniature universe. Once again he slashed furiously, trying to destroy the Lord of Yuan Arcana. Ping, 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 ping. The two clashed at lightning speed. All of them were using their strongest attacks. Suddenly the endless miniature universe vanished without a sound. The 9 seconds of casting was up. Even though he could continue, Luo Feng didn't want to fight anymore. The Lord of Yuan Arcana is indeed the Lord of Yuan Arcana, respect. I won't stay any longer. Luo Feng became a beam of light and swiftly fled. The surrounding space had long been sealed, he couldn't teleport at all. Wanna leave? Dream on. The Lord of Yuan Arcana roared as he chased after Luo Feng. Haha, just you and you want to chase me? Luo Feng laughed loudly. With the Golden Country and Nine Nether River blocking him, the Lord of Yuan Arcana's speed couldn't compare to Luo Feng's. Seeing Luo Feng flee, the Lord of Yuan Arcana couldn't do anything. He had already noticed that Luo Feng's energy was obviously weaker by a level. He estimated that he had lost 10% of his energy. And even though he had unleashed his strongest techniques over 10 times, he had only lost 2% of his energy. If this continued, he would definitely exhaust Luo Feng to death. It was a pity that with the support of the Golden Country, the Nine Nether River was completely under Luo Feng's control. If he could win, he would fight. If he couldn't, he would fight. However, if it seemed like he might lose his life, he had to flee. Luo Feng, human punk. Even if you run fast, I don't believe the other universe lords of the Ancestral God Sect can run that fast. I'll just wait in my territory. Let's see what your Ancestral God Sect can do to me. The Lord of Yuan Arcana let out a sky-shaking roar. Within the roar, Luo Feng had already flown out of the space lock, and with a teleportation he vanished. That Lord of Yuan Arcana is actually that strong. Just what is that black godwood? Luo Feng was in a space within the huge Yuan Arcana region. In terms of techniques, he's obviously much weaker than the Star River Lord. However, with that godwood, in terms of attack power, he doesn't lose to the Star River Lord. No wonder he was able to destroy a universe lord with one attack in the Cosmic Sea. I've already unleashed the Golden Country, Miniature Universe and Nine Nether River, and I'm still at a disadvantage. Luo Feng realized. Even with the Miniature Universe, Nine Nether River, Golden Country and the Golden Light technique from the Absolute Guest Blade, he could barely match the power of the Star Pagoda level 2. Using the Star Pagoda didn't consume much god energy. However, the Miniature Universe consumed a full 10% of his god body. If I hadn't unleashed the Miniature Universe earlier, I would have been at an absolute disadvantage. I would have been instantly blown away and my body would have been heavily injured. Luo Feng thought. With the support of the Miniature Universe, he was only at a disadvantage. Maintaining the maximum power, every time I unleash it, it consumes 10% of my god body. Using it a few times, I'll have to risk my life. Luo Feng shook his head. He wasn't a match. Ancestor God. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out the golden tag. Luo Feng. Ancestor God, that Lord of Yuan Arcana is also a target. And he has a black godwood, that's also a target. The black godwood is extremely powerful. Lord Yuan Arcana is relying on it and not something I can fight against. Luo Feng said, to get rid of him I'm really helpless. You've already done very well. When Yuan Arcana unleashed the black godwood, I already knew the reason. The true reason is that black wood. I've already sent out the 9 Nether God Lord and 2 Universe Lords. They'll first head to Purple Thorn Island to gather. Hurry and receive them, directly teleport from the God Country to your place. 9 Nether God Lord? Luo Feng replied, I'll immediately go receive them. Luo Feng stood in space. Beside him a jade green light glowed. It was Luo Feng's soul servant activating the God Country teleportation. 3 silhouettes walked out. The leader was a middle-aged man dressed in a beautiful black long robe. His pale white face had black engravings. His entire being emitted a demonic aura. One that was different from the Primal Chaos City leader, and different from the Darkness Lord. It was a kind of freedom that came from looking at the entire universe. Milky Way Leader. The demonic middle-aged man looked at Luo Feng and said, 9 Nether Lord. Luo Feng said too. The two exchanged glances. Interesting, the punk from back then has become so strong in a blink of an eye. 9 Nether Lord turned and said, these two beside me, you should recognize them, right? Luo Feng looked and smiled. This is Yunnan from the Thorn Ring Alliance, and this is the Dark Python leader from the Ancestral God religion. Through the virtual universe, he had already checked up on the famous lords of the universe of the various large organizations in the universe. Naturally, he had memorized some of the information about the lords of the universe. If he knew some of the techniques that the lords of the universe were good at, he would be able to prepare and defend against them during battle. Right. Nine Nether Lord nodded. The two of them are also outer members of the Ancestral God religion. They belong to our Nine Nether bloodline. You two belong to our Nine Nether bloodline. The four of us are rather close. Milky Way Leader. Milky Way Leader. Yunnan and Dark Python Leader said simultaneously. Yunnan was a bald man with bone wings. The Dark Python Leader was a huge python with silhouettes all around him. The two looked at Luo Feng with goodwill. It's a pleasure to meet the two of you. Luo Feng smiled. Nine Nether Lord nodded. This matter regarding the Yuan Ao Lord, our Nine Nether bloodline will deal with the Ancestral God religion's side.